Good afternoon. The Hamilton County Grand Jury has just returned an indictment against Deshaun Brown for the murder of Nylo Lattimore and Nylo Lattimore. Letitia was 29, Nylo was 3. This charge that the grand jury returned includes the potential penalty of death for what he did to these two people. And I will say, I want to make an opening comment about the Cincinnati Police Department. They are stars. They really are. And people don't realize how good we have it here in Cincinnati to have this type of police force really helping us live our lives. And anyway, so he is facing the death penalty for killing a child purposely under the age of 13. That's the first spec. The second spec is that he killed 2 or more people. I'm going to show you a couple of slides, and or is it going to be over here, Peg? Okay. You probably have this from their missing persons photo. Okay, Peg. I want to mention this too. I would be remiss if I didn't tell the public, if you know this guy or you know someone who dated him that all of a sudden disappeared, it would be very helpful to law enforcement to know that. It's very hard to believe that, at least on a personal level, this act that he committed is beyond. I do get upset about it, and I'll be honest with you, when it involves children, I do. Anyway, Defendant Brown killed Natisha, and we believe Natisha sat in that apartment for about 5 days. And at some point, he purchased a body bag after that from eBay. Is that right, Kurt?
Yes, sir.
And we have photos of him. We have video of him with the body bag. Go ahead. That's the body bag right there. That's him carrying the body.
Can you hold that picture for a sec, please?
You're good. Some of my staff members and I met with the family of these 2 deceased victims, and it was pretty emotional, as you can imagine. Anyway, if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer the best I can. Yes. Let me say one last thing. Chief, thank you again. People in Cincinnati don't realize how good a police force we have, and it's first rate from top to bottom. And I never cease to amaze me what a great job they do under difficult circumstances. So thank you, Chief, and thank you guys for your work on this case. Go ahead, Anjanette.
The stroller was recovered from the area. So was Nylo placed in the river alive, to your belief or to your knowledge?
We believe he was.
Ms. Deters, can you go into what led you to believe that Deshaun Brown killed Nylo as well?
I know you're going to be angry with me, but I can't get into specifics right now. There's things that will come out at trial. Obviously, this is going to be a trial because it's a death penalty case. We don't have a judge yet, do we? Or has this been filed?
Just today.
Okay. So we should have a judge here in a couple of days.
But you just mentioned that Nylo was dumped in the river.
Yes.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the circumstances?
He didn't want Nylo's existence traced back to him after he killed Nylo's mother. And so he made a choice. You know, he made a choice and he decided that this little boy's life wasn't worth what he had done to the mom and going to prison for the rest of his life. And he chose to kill Nylo in a incredibly barbaric method. And I still have nightmares about this. And it's a gruesome case. I cannot even imagine what that little boy was going through. Anyway, any other questions? Yes.
Can you clarify the timeline on this? When you guys believe he killed her, when he dumped the body, and then where?
He killed her on December 5th. And Kurt, when was the body discarded at the river?
On the 11th, which was a Friday, we discovered it, what, about 6 hours later?
About 3:30 in the morning on Saturday, the 12th of December.
And it's my understanding they're still looking for Nylo, but it's pretty clear that he died a miserable death. It's pretty clear that.
He was thrown in the river before her body was found, or like where in that timeline does Nylo?
I think it was before, wasn't it? Yeah.
So sometime between the 5th and the 11th?
Yeah.
Is that-
Well, his mom lay dead in the apartment for 5 or 6 days.
So you believe maybe closer to the 5th he had disposed of?
I'm sorry.
You believe sometime closer to the 5th that he disposed of Nylo, or?
Well, he did it pretty rapidly. I mean, he got rid of the body after 5 or 6 days of Letitia's body, and then Nylo. You know, we've never found Nylo.
Right, but like on here it says his blood was found on the Paw Patrol blanket. So he was obviously.
We
harmed.
did extensive blood work on this case. I mean, it is a very good case, thanks to the homicide investigators. And I do apologize for not being more specific, but we have rules from the Supreme Court what we're allowed to talk about, and that's some of the stuff we can't talk about.
Where was that photo taken, sir?
That was wasn't that down at the,
Victim's apartment building.
Yeah.
that's the apartment building. And he took an Uber to the river.
Is the building public knowledge, or like the neighborhood and all that stuff?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Okay, never mind.
Did he kill her in the Pete Rose Way apartment or in the Walnut Hills?
No.
Walnut Hills, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Walnut Hills.
No.
Yeah.
Pete Rose Way is where he went to, that's where that.
He
address-
disposed of the bodies.
What is the picture on the right?
That's the body bag.
So he got into.
He knew he was going to kill her for 2 months. I mean, this was a very premeditated murder. But that's not enough for the death penalty in Ohio. You have to have aggravating circumstances, which goes beyond just premeditation or purposeful. You have to, in this case, the specifications were he killed a child under 13, and he killed 2 or more people.
So you said he took an Uber down there.
Yes.
Did you guys end up talking to the Uber driver?
Yes, yeah, it's all,
Did they
I'm telling you,
suspicious?
these guys are good, huh?
The Uber driver, I mean, in discussion, I don't know if you can talk about it.
He had he was told that it was his clothing, he's moving out.
So, I'm so sorry, on the left, it looks like a dark bag.
That's the body bag with a blanket over the top of it.
Blanket, okay, thank
Do you see it sticking out of the bottom?
And where did he acquire this body bag?
He ordered it from eBay.
In his mugshot, he was wearing the psych ward outfit. Is he on suicide watch?
Not that I'm aware of.
In your conversations with him, what was his demeanor?
We don't have conversations with him.
So, and I was just gonna ask that, Nylo's body hasn't been found, so Mr. Brown's not talking.
He has a
What
lawyer and they're not talking to us.
turned to this case?
Video from the apartment, a variety of things, led to his arrest.
I guess the question is, what is it that led you specifically to know that Brown killed Nylo?
I can't talk about that.
So you think he's killed other women because you?
I mean, I just can't believe this is his first murders right out of the gate. He kills a 29-year-old woman and a 3-year-old baby. It's very hard to believe this is the last time. His record is, I'd call it minimal. But he knew what he wanted to do for, a couple months and went and did it. Carried it out, ordered a body bag. I can't.
Can you say why you believe he knew this for a couple months? Was this body bag bought in advance?
It was not. It was not.
Do you get a sense of why he killed her?
There's some boyfriend-girlfriend stuff going back and forth, but there's no good excuse for this. None.
So hypothetically, if you had full-blown evidence he killed Nylo, but you don't have Nylo's body, that's still enough to move forward?
But yeah, we helped on Carrie Culberson when she was missing and up in Wilmington. And you can prove cases without a body. I mean, we do domestic violence cases sometimes because the victim won't testify against who they're living with. It's just the way it is.
Can you go into just a little bit more detail of the boyfriend-girlfriend stuff? What was in Brown's mind from your best?
I know you're gonna get tired of me saying this, but I can't talk about that. But we know it. Okay? Chief, you want to say something?
Thank you, Joe. First, let me begin by offering my deepest condolences to the family of Natisha and Nylo. Their tragic loss has touched the Cincinnati community in a very deep way. I do want to take the opportunity to echo the words of the prosecutor. I tell you, the work done by our homicide investigators and their tenacity has been unparalleled in this case. And it's because of their relentless investigation that I believe, as the prosecutor stated, the evidence will clearly show that Deshaun Brown is responsible for the death of these two individuals. I also want to recognize the many other agencies that have assisted in this, the volunteers and their tireless work continuing the search for Nylo. It's been countless hours that they've searched for this baby, and it will continue until we do ultimately find him. I do want to thank the prosecutor and his team for bringing these charges forward. It's my prayer that hopefully this will bring some piece of justice to their family. So thank you for that.
Anything else, guy?
Yeah, just real quick, Chief, can you talk at all about any key piece of evidence that really sent this over the top?
That will all come out in trial. I certainly don't want to do anything to jeopardize that, and I think the prosecutor has indicated that.
Can you talk about what it was like for your investigators in this case? Spending months on this trying to find the body of a 3-year-old and show that he's the
I'll go out on a limb and speak for him because I've worked with them for many years, and I see what they do. They take any death investigation very seriously, but when it's involving a 3-year-old child, a baby, there's a little bit of something extra there that they want to bring, again, some sense of justice to the family, and it shows in their work. They never give up, and they continue to work on it. So I'm in awe of the work that they do.
And, we haven't seen anything in terms of emotion. This is very close to the Marcus Fossil case. I mean, we looked for Marcus for weeks before we got a break in that case. But it's just the image of these young kids, this young child, whether it's Marcus or Nylo, fighting for their life. They shouldn't be doing that at 3 and 4 years old. Thank you, everybody.